index.html. All thanks to VS Code, I can easily do HTML5. No, HTML. Are you kidding me? HTML5 now. Element abbreviation. No, now. HTML5. Cool. Then I will simply say Wizkid official. Made in Lagos. Then we have that. Then next thing is to import our CSS link rel equals style sheets href equals this/css/style.css. Then I'll open style.css on the side here. So I'll actually use some of Olamide's code. So of course the generic padding 0, margin 0, then the color code. Where is it? So made in Lagos. So let me copy this guy. Then if I go live, then of course, so we have that gray background, that nice looking background that is not entirely white, right? The next thing I want to do is, so ideally, if you are working with HTML5, one of the beautiful things about HTML5 is instead of using generic div, you have elements that are much more relatable and much more readable. Even though they are basically divs, but using those elements actually helps you to be able to put proper structure to your website and to be able to debug things. So instead of using a div, I will use header. And I'll call this, I'll say class equals main header. I can call it landing or something. Let me use landing. So I'll say landing, right? Then I won't put anything here for now. So basically, looking at this website, looking at the original website, of course, there's an image in the background. So which means the next work is to go to the CSS. So I'll simply come here and say landing page. I'm just adding comments so that in case you guys have to go through the code base again, you can easily track things. Landing page, then I'll say landing background image equals URL img, then Wizkid desktop.jpg. Save it up and let's see what that looks like on here. The landing. Okay. So I've not given landing any size, so I would say width is 100%, height is 100 VH, since it's supposed to fill the screen no matter what screen size we are on. Good. So we have Wizkid's image in, but this is not the way the image is supposed to look like. So I could do background size and say cover, so that covers the screen. Good. Let's see what we have here and what we have here. So this is definitely not the same as this. This looks a bit lower. This is closer to the top, right? So I could do background size, let's say 110%. 110%. Good. Then I can say background position. Background position. Let me do background position. Top left or left top. Let's see what that looks like. So okay, that okay. Let me do bottom left, and let's see. Good. So this is already getting adjusted to an extent, but there is still the space at the top here is too much. So I will make this. Okay, I think I can do cover actually. I can do cover. Good. So I think this looks better. Yeah, this is approximately what we have here. Let me see if it's the same on here. So good. So responsiveness wise now, what I have is not as responsive as the original. It's not as responsive as the original website. Of course, I can use media query, since on major screens, like it is until you get somewhere around there, that's when we begin to have issues. But to avoid that, I would simply say left and say so let me do right, bottom right instead of left, and let's see what that gives us. So yeah, cool. Then we can adjust things up later using media query. And in fact, I'm coming. Let me see. If we have this here, what do we have here? Almost the same thing, but not the same thing. So okay, this looks good. This is not bad. So let's get. So we have that fixed up. The next thing I want to do is bring in the logos. So I would create a div here. I'll create a div, or so yeah, I'll create a no, not even a div. I'll just bring in the images at first. So I would say img source is image, then Wizkid logo.svg, then alt text is Wizkid. Since that's the text there, then I will duplicate this guy and say made in Lagos, since I know that's what the name of the text would be. Then I would text would be, then I would say made in Lagos.png. Let's save that up and let's see what it gives us. Okay, cool. Of course, it's overflowing. Then, so I can simply come in here and say, okay, this is Salamide's code. So I can simply come here now and say dot logo dot landing. Any image that is in landing. Hey God. Any image that is in landing. Any image that is in landing. The width should be, let's say, 300 pixels. I haven't actually checked what the original size looks like. Good. So let's see. Oh God, they are calling me. So Wizkid made in Lagos. So if I give them the same sizes, it won't give us this feel. So while this 300 pixels seems to work for that landing, so it's not working for the other one. So I'll just say dot Wizkid, since that's the name. Then I will say dot landing dot made in Lagos, which was what I was trying to say the other time. I will say width is 400 pixels. Then I will come over to my HTML here and just give those classes to these guys. Class equals Wizkid. Then class equals made in Lagos. Save it up and let's see what that gives us. Cool. But obviously they are beside each other instead of being stacked on top of each other and all. And to solve that, I'll simply come here and say div and say copy. So I'll put this guy. So by default, images are inline elements, not block elements. So what that means is that block elements stack on top of each other. Inline element just flows with the whole document. So I'll put them within a block element, which is this 2D, which is a div, and just save things up, and they should be stacked on top of each other now. Good. Now, the size of this made in Lagos has to increase. So let me do 450 pixels. Okay, so while it's making up its mind to refresh or not, the next thing I want to do is I'm sure you probably already guessed it. So, okay. So before we even go to that, yeah. So okay, we can actually go there. We can go there actually. Is I want to. So this guy is to the right, right? Let me see. This guy is to the right, kind of to the right, to the center, kind of thing. So basically, the way I'm saying this is, if we split this screen into two, like if we split this screen, let me see. If we split this screen into like two equal halves, it appears like this guy is at the center of that half or left aligned to that other half. So here's what I can do. I can come here and say, I'll just say section. Yeah. Put all of these guys in that section. See, then I'll call this guy container. So container. So dot landing dot container. So yeah. So landing, I'll make landing flex as usual. So display is flex. Then justify contents, that's to the right now instead of the traditional to the left that I do. Okay, with display flex justify content. Sorry, it should be flex end, not right. Good. And yeah, justify content flex end. I will make container, I'll give it a width of 50%. I'll give it a width of 50%. Make it also a flex element, display flex, and say so display is flex. Good. Then I would say align items, that should be center. Let me see what that gives us. Good. Align items center. Then I would say flex direction. Flex direction should be column and not a row. Align item center. Then I will say the height should inherit. So it should take the height of its parents. Okay, that's not working out, but we are getting there, sha. Alright. So this guy made in Lagos should have margin top of, let's say, minus 50 pixels to start with. Save it up. Okay, so let me see what we have here. Wizkid made in Lagos. Wizkid made in Lagos. Okay, the space is too much. Minus 30.
Sorry, an observation.
Okay, what's that?
Yeah, so the original image.
Yeah.
The one at Wizkid official.
Yeah.
It has a kind of like feed at the end.
Yeah. So yeah. So we'll get to that, and in fact we'll troubleshoot that together. Because so I observed it, and I know that the way to go about it is actually to use gradients. Sure you get. The way to fix that is gradients. Sure you get. So we'll look at it later, but I cannot guarantee you that we'll look at it in this session. Sure you get. Yeah. So So flex align items. So let me do 100 VH for the height also. so that, and let's see what that gives us. Align items center, or let me do align content center, and let's see. Wait, align items is supposed to be vertical, right? Give me a minute, please. Let me just inspect here. Let me inspect. I don't wanna give that. Okay, yeah. So align items center, display block. I'm coming now. Give me a minute. So in fact, I think this guy is not even, the height is, can still be inherit. I think so let me, okay, it seems I understand what's going on now. So the landing page, if I say, I think I can do align items center for the landing page. Then the width of this guy, the height of this guy does not have to be inherit. Good. Nice. So so that means I wouldn't be needing flex direction in this case. Then so I would say justify content and flex align items center. Then no need for 100 VH height again. Then save this guy up and let's see what that gives us. Okay, flex direction column. All right, cool. I think we are close. We're kind of close. So then I will do text align center, right? Because it should be at the center. Good. Then I would say display flex. Then I would say align justify content flex starts. Okay, that's not having any impact. Hold on. So okay, we said this should be flex end. We said the width should be 50%. Then so if the width is 50% and we are doing an alignment to the center, so that means it's taking it here. So if I say the width is, let's say 70%, for example. Okay, that should adjust things. Okay, yeah. So let's see. So the next thing we need to check now is the universality of whatever. So okay, so I just want to check if this will be responsive across board. Okay, I think this works so far. Good. Yeah. So I think the sizes we are using, the sizes I'm using here are not exactly the same size that we have there, but what we have at the moment actually works. So the next thing is those buttons. So I'll come over here and say, so I will actually put the buttons inside here. I would say href. Okay, you used A. Okay, so we can actually use A. We can use A href equals, so empty tag, then listen now, then I'll duplicate this guy. So I'll put these guys in a div. Take them up. So I'll say class name. Sorry, this is not React. I'm saying class name. So I would say class equals buttons. I'll say class equals buttons. Then yeah, ahref equals listen now. Then this guy, the other guy is what? Watch now. save this guy up. And so one thing I need to confirm now is all the links on this website, do they have the same property? If they have the same property, okay, that means I can just go ahead and transform all my anchor tags to have this. But now the issue is these icons here, for example, they are also links. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So if I just go ahead and give a generic class to all my A tags, it then becomes a problem for these guys. What I'm saying is actually quite difficult to picture, but basically here's what I'll do. I'll just say class equals button link. So that means a link that is also a button link. Yeah, then I'll come over here. Let me close this guy up and say dot button link. So this is going to be a generic class. So I'll first do a text transform to uppercase to ensure that the text. So okay, let me open index.html and see what we have. So you can see what we have right now. It's just link, and all these are in sentence case, right? So I'll just come here and say text transform uppercase. Then I'll say text decoration. So okay, for all my links, actually, I want a text decoration to be none. Text decoration gives underline, and I want the text color. So I want the color to be black. Cool. So, but for button link, I want the text to be in uppercase. Then I'll give a padding of, let me see. Then I'll give a padding of, let's say, let's just do 2 pixels for now. Then border is 1 pixel solid black. Good. Now we would come here and say body fonts family. So for now, I'll just use a generic fonts. Font family is let's just use. I'll just say sans serif. That's all that matters to me. I'm not so particular about. Yeah, I just want to ensure that this guy is this. Are you guys still following? So padding. Yeah. So cool. So I will say 2 pixels. So this guy will be 4 pixels, and this. So top and bottom, I want 4 pixels. Right and left, I want 8 pixels. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, cool. So, oh, it's actually. So I will do 16 pixels. All right. So I think this actually works for as far as I'm concerned. Then the next thing is when the user hovers on it, we want something to happen, right? So we want basically when the user hovers on these buttons, we want the size to increase, something like this, right? Basically what we want to do is we want to change the scale. It's a transform. So I'll say dot button link over, then I'll say transform scale. I'll say 1.1, and let's see what that gives us. Transform dot button link over transform scale 1.1. It shocked me out. Okay, let me do 1.5. Let's do let's use an extreme case to know if it's working or not. So refresh. Oh wow, so what's wrong? Then of course we have our inspect to run to. Inspect dot button link. So it could be an issue with naming. Dot button link over transform. Okay. So let's say transform scale, let's say 1. So by default, then let me do transition transition I'll do scale, transition scale, let's do 0.5 seconds, forwards, then linear, whatever, linear, let's see. I've written wrong code though. So of course you can always run to Google. So transform, transition property, CSS. So I'm coming on dot button link, listen now. Let me try and do a transform scale of 1.5. And let's see what happens. Okay, good. I think I know. The reason the transform scale is not applying to this guy is because links, a links by default, they are inline elements. So what I will do now is I will change this to a block, to an inline block. So I will say I will say display inline block, yeah, and that should fix the issue. Good. You can see what we have now. So the reason it wasn't working before is because it's an inline element. And like I said, inline elements just flow with the whole document. They don't have a mind of their own. They are dodoyo. So what I will do now is, right now we have 1.5. 1.5 is a lot. I'll just do 1.1, and I would say transform. So I would say transition duration should be 0.7 seconds. This is too small. 0.3 seconds. So let's see what that gives us. You can see what we have now. Very close to what we have on the main website itself. Good. But we increase this scale to 1.2. So I think what we have now is closer to what's on the main website. Good. So any questions so far? Anything I need to anything you need me to reiterate or give more attention to? Kindly ask your questions now. None?
Yeah, for now.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So let's get to it. So the major thing I want to focus now is on how to make this mobile responsive. Good. So this looks scattered now. Like if Wizkid had paid you to build this website and you had delivered this, I'm sure that you'll be in jail by now, right? We both can agree on that. We all can agree on that. So in fact, so the thing is, in order to make work easy for the developer actually used two images, which is this guy. Oh, I actually didn't download okay, this is not mine. Okay, this is Olamide's code. So the developer actually used two images, and I was actually surprised because it's actually very, very possible to use one image to achieve that. But I'll show you what the developer did. You know, that's why, and the reason he decided to use two images. So in order to responsiveness or to cater for mobile screen, we'll be using media queries. And to do that, I'll simply say at media screen. I can say screen only, and then I'll say screen. Let me just do screen, and max width is, let's say, 568 pixels, for example. This is not the original breakpoint for mobile screens, but we are just doing that for the sake of this purpose. I mean, for the purpose of this tutorial. So basically, I'm saying that all the styles we've defined here, they are the styles that we apply to the landing page by default. We are not setting a condition that if the width of the device, maybe it's a phone or it's a tablet, once it is not more than 568 pixels, we now want to apply new set of styles to it. So I can come over to landing page now, for example, and simply say the background position should now be so basically what we have here is bottom right. I can say it should now be bottom left. So I would say background position bottom left, right? Then I'll say background size. Okay, yeah, bottom left. Let's see, and let's save this up. What's happening? Sorry, give me a minute. So .wizkid .container 100%. Height is 100 VH. Background URL is this. Background size is cover. Let me do background, or let me say top left, and let's see. There should be a change. Okay, no yawa. Let me say landing container. I'll say the width now should be 100%. Should be 100%. Then I will adjust this logo sizes also to, so let's say maybe half. So I'll make this guy 150. I'll make this guy 150. Make this guy, let's say 250. These are not the absolute sizes. I mean, these are not the sizes. Cool. Okay, yeah. So we have this now. So because I understand what's going on. So because we are covering so instead of this, I will now say background. I'll say background size should be contain instead of cover. Then we should have some. Okay, cool. So we have this now, which of course we cannot use. So you can see that. So this contains, and we appear to be having multiple images here, which does not make sense. So what we can now do is now say background image is URL .img/wizkid mobile.jpg. Save it up, and let's see. Good. So now no background. So we are not doing background position top and left. We just say background position should be center, and we'll go back to the background size being cover. Save it up, and now we have this. The major issue now would be, how does Wizkid go to the top and made in Lagos and these buttons come down? It's very simple. So we already have our container to be flex, Abby, and what we have presently is we say flex direction column. We said so we said align items center. So in here now, instead of saying align items center, in landing I'll just say align items, say stretch. You put a space between these two guys. Okay, no, I will just say flex start, right? I'll say flex start. Then this landing now, I'll say the width should be inherit, which means that it should take up. Shall you see the kind of wahala wey this thing they give me?
I don't see
space. So I'll do space around instead of space between actually. Then let's see where that leads us. Good. But I can actually do space between. I can do space between. Let me do space between. That's what will actually make sense. Good. But in the original design, or on the official website, here's what we have. There's some space at the top here for the Wizkid and some space at the bottom here. So for that, and the width is not actually 150 pixels. I think the width is actually the same width. So I would simply come here and say, let's say this guy is 250 pixels. Let's say this guy is 350 pixels. Good. This looks good. Or instead of that, I would say the width should be 70%. The width should be 70%. Then this width should be 90%. just so that it's responsive across all mobile screens. Did anything change? I don't think so. Okay, this looks good. So what I would do now is I'll come over here and add padding top of, let's say 10 m would be a lot. Let's say 5 m to start with, and let's see what that gives us. Awesome. Then padding bottom of 2.5 m. Let's say padding bottom of 2.5 m. Okay, so it will not be apparent now. So what I would do now is this 5 m and 2.5 m that I've added to like the overall height of the design and the whole thing, I will have to remove it from this height. So let me take this guy back to inherit actually instead of 100 VH, and let's see if it still works. Cool, it still works. So what I will do now is I will use a command called calc. This basically helps you to do like some mathematical nonsense, and I will say minus 7.5 m. You know the original height was 100 VH. Now I've added a padding of 5 m and a padding top of 5 m and a padding top of 2.5 m. That's 7.5 m. So I want to remove it from the 100 VH. So it's basically, so imagine minus 7.5 m plus 5 m plus 2.5 m. That takes us back to 100 VH. So I need to remove it from the original height in order to avoid any overflow. So let's do that and see. Cool. So this is what we now have, which does not look good. So that means I will bring the padding top and bottom to this landing. Then let's see what good. Yeah, and I think basically that's what we have. That's basically what we have on the website. So if we check this out now and say this, so we are at 7. So yeah, so immediately we get to 500 pixels. So of course this is, so we can cater for this. So this is like an edge case. So immediately we get here, it changes to this. So we can come over and say, let me see. Okay, cool. So I will say, so I'll create a media query sharply and say at media screen, and so I want to take care of those people also. So let me do 767. So let me do 767 pixels. Then I'll say at media minimum width, mean width is 768 pixels, and max width is, let me see, so, and the max width is 1130 pixels. So these are not standards. This is just me trying to get the job done, really. Okay, so there's supposed to be a, yeah, good. So I'll just say dot landing. What I'll be adjusting is just the background position. I'll just say background position is top left, Abby. Is it top? So what we have here was bottom right. So I would say bottom left. Bottom left. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, good. Okay. This is not good enough. I would offset it. So left, let's say minus 50%. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, so I'll do minus 20%. minus 20%. That's still not working. So let me do 0. Okay, so at 0, that's what we have. So let me do 100 pixels and let's just see what happens. Oh god. So so let me adjust the background size. Okay, I'm coming. A minute. So background position is bottom. So let's do bottom left. But what I want to do is I want to offset. So let me do background position. So I don't know. So let me see what that's going to look like. Okay, so it seems if I want to use so I'll do 0 then 50%. It seems I have to use values and values. I cannot use like numbers and all these things. So I'll do 70%. Let's see if that changes. With landing. Hey, my PC is hanging. So background position. Let's do 50%. Okay, so let's see. Okay, good. Oh, awesome. So we'll do 70%. So we'll do 50%, 70%. Then refresh. So if you check this out now, on all mobile screens, or I'll be on all widths and in all fronts, you can see that this looks good. Like it's fully responsive. Yeah, and that's what's up. So I've tried to, and so let me see how many minutes we've been recording. So we've been